The beer you drink is awful, but it doesn't have to be. There are countless local breweries all over the country that make great beer. Amazing beer, also known as craft beer. Beer you can savor rather than chug. Each week, we'll take you to a brewery, brew pub, or beer festival, give you a tour, and then drink the beer. All of it, for the betterment of mankind. The beer you drink can be great. So put down that red party cup and start drinking beer like an adult. This is Crafty.
Welcome to Season 2 of Crafty, the web series about great local beer. I'm TK, the series director and co-founder of the show. It's been a long time since we put a new episode out. Really glad to be back. For our Season 2 premiere, we really wanted to showcase a brewery that embodies the creativity and innovation in craft brewing that's going on in this country. So we decided to go with the Bruery in Orange County, California. Right now I'm at Slater's 50/50 in Pasadena, where they're doing a special beer release event. This beer is called Melange No. 1. It's a blend of Old Tart, a gold medal winning Flemish Red Ale, and Black Tuesday, which is a 19% ABV Imperial Stout. This thing is incredible, it's complex. You get that fruit from the sour, the tartness. You get that chocolate roasty notes from the stout. We actually had a chance to go to their tasting room about a year ago with Grant and Aaron and try some of the stuff they had over there. It was really great. But before I show you that footage, we created a short retrospective of the history of beer in the world leading up to the history of beer in America. So crack open a craft brewery your own and enjoy the show. Salud.
It is believed by many that when mankind began to cultivate grain to create bread and beer, it led to our ability to develop technology and civilizations. Beer allowed us to leave our nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyle behind and create cities. The very first beer was created in what is now Iraq. 7,000 years later, beer was a standard drink among the Sumerians and Egyptians. Beer was part of the daily diet of Egyptian pharaohs and was even used to treat illnesses in Egypt. Beer brewing later migrated to Europe, where it was a very common drink throughout all of medieval times. Europe is also where many of the important advancements in beer brewing took place. Hops were introduced in the Czech Republic, standard barrel sizes were implemented in Germany, the saccharometer, also known as the hydrometer, was created in England in 1770, the steam engine was updated in the United Kingdom, which led to the industrialization of beer, and in 1856, Louis Pasteur discovered what yeast is and how it causes the process of fermentation in beer. But our story really begins in the New World. Brewing was not an easy task for early American settlers. Virginia colonists brewed some ale using corn, and the first imported shipment of beer from England arrived around 1607. But the local farmland was not ideal for growing malt, and importing was very expensive. At this time, cider was plentiful, and much easier to make than beer, which was not incredibly commonplace in America until around the 1800s, when we had the resources as a nation to really produce it. In 1810, there were 132 breweries in the United States, and by 1873, there were over 4,000. The 1800s also gave us Yuengling, which is America's oldest beer brewing company. Everything was going great, but one by one the states began to enact prohibition laws making alcohol illegal. And finally, in 1919, the 18th Amendment to the Constitution made the manufacture, transport, and sale of alcohol illegal in the entire country. Until organized crime and violence made us finally realize how f***ing stupid prohibition was, and we repealed it in 1933. But the damage was done. Bootleggers often watered down beer during prohibition to save money, and this sadly led to Americans preferring watery beer. Nearly half of the 1,300 American breweries that were open before prohibition went into effect had now gone belly up. The breweries that did survive ended up consolidating into larger companies. By 1977, there were fewer than 100 American breweries, and with the exception of Anchor Steam in San Francisco and a few others, they were all mass-producing the same shitty light lagers. Many say this was rock bottom for American beer, but hope had already sprung anew. In 1976, Jack McAuliffe opened America's first microbrewery in California, and 2 years later, Jimmy Carter legalized homebrewing on a federal level. These events, among many others, sparked the beginning of craft beer in America. Sierra Nevada was established in 1980. In 1981, the first Great American Beer Festival was held in Colorado. In 1982, the first brewery since Prohibition was allowed to serve their own beer on the premises, and the brew pub was reborn. In 1984, the Boston Beer Company was founded, which today is the largest craft brewery in America. The 90s brought about a craft beer renaissance, with a new brewery opening up almost every other day. And as of June 2013, there are over 2,400 craft breweries in the United States, more than any other country in the world.
Continuing in this grand tradition and providing suds for all of America, nay, perhaps the world, is the Bruery in Orange County, California.
So let's go inside and drink some beer.
We decided to kick in the door on a board meeting and pull out the CEO and founder of the brewery. We're here with Patrick Rue. How's it going, bud?
What's up, guys? How are you?
How you doing?
Good.
What's up with all the barrels?
I love the way barrels affect the flavor of beer. Different spirit barrels add a lot of richness to the beer, a lot of complexity. Got to know the folks over at Lost Abbey, really admired their beers and what they were doing, and took some inspiration from them. It's a higher end beer, targeting $20 to $30 a bottle. So that puts it in sort of wine-like pricing, and people aren't used to paying that. Our average barrel-aged beer sits there for 14 months, some are up to 3 years.
If you could have your way and collaborate with any brewer or any brewing company in the world, who would it be?
I feel really lucky as a brewery because pretty much anybody I call up and say, hey, you want to come to my brewery and make a beer with me? They're going to say, yeah. I mean, brewers are such cool people. Yeah, I've already gotten to work with some of our dream breweries. Stone, who's our distributor in Southern California, is certainly one of them. Collab with Cigar City, just a freaking awesome brewery. Anybody who I've really wanted to work with, I don't have to dream, I just have to ask. That sounds a little cocky, doesn't it?
Nah, don't dream it, live it. Pat, in just 4 short years, you've come such a long way. To what do you guys attribute your meteoric rise in the craft brew world?
A really strong interest in craft beer overall. Breweries everywhere growing like crazy. My dad's my partner and my financier. You know, a lot of breweries don't have access to capital. People love our beer. We have a really strong following. We really pay attention to our quality standards.
So Pat, what's up? What's the score? Can we get a couple bottles of the 12 beers of Christmas?
I could give you 1 through 4.
Seriously?
Maybe 2 through 4.
Pat, we know you have a whole bunch of mergers and acquisitions to get back to, so we won't take up too much more of your time. Is there anybody else we can talk to around here?
I think Phil would be a great guy to talk to. He's our lead brewer.
Awesome.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you excited about with your 12 days/years of Christmas series coming out in the next few years?
In the coming years, those recipes haven't been made yet. We'll probably try something new that we've never tried before, and it'll probably come out pretty interesting.
It's going to be quite the thing when we can drink the full vertical series. So how come you don't make a hoppier beer?
We have a Humulus series, and they're all very hoppy beers, but it's pretty rare.
Well, that's a little bit atypical for a Southern California West Coast style brewery. Is that why you think your Mischief is one of your best sellers? Because it's one of the more hoppy beers you guys do?
There are a lot of hop heads in this area, and when they taste hops, they buy the beer. So yes, we don't like to just be devoted to hoppy beers.
You guys have got a serious emphasis on Belgian ales and the like. What led to the choice of focusing on that style of beer?
When you go with the category, Belgian ales has the most creativity, just kind of a wide open category that you can do almost anything.
How large is your barrel aging program?
It's pretty massive. By the end of the year, we should have around 3,000. I believe it's the second largest in the country. If you really want to know more about our barrel program, I would talk to Matt. He's pretty much our barrel master.
So Matt, you're in charge of one of the largest barrel programs in craft brewing, perhaps all of America. What can you tell us about what it's like to run that kind of program?
We've got probably about 20 different beers in our barrel program right now. You can imagine that with the total of around 2,400 barrels, it gets pretty complicated pretty quickly. We're obviously a brewery that does a lot of things very differently compared to other breweries. We kind of like being the odd man out. But also there's a lot of tradition there. We try to mimic a lot of the Belgian styles, especially when it comes to our sour beers. And certainly over the past couple of years, there has been a lot more interest in barreled beers, not just sours, but bourbon barrel, rye barrel, whiskey aged beers. And that's something that I think Patrick and Tyler were really interested in doing to kind of set us apart from everyone else. The brewers here are not really afraid to go off the beaten path. I think they kind of thrive on that. I think our barrel program has a lot to do with it. That certainly created a lot of interest for people. We push about 40% of our beers through barrel at some point. I don't think there's any other brewery in the country that's our size or bigger that can actually say that.
Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. We'll let you get back to work.
All right.
So Phil, what do we have here?
Well, your first beer is Local Red, a American red ale, very hoppy and with significant oak character to it.
It's extremely light and almost fruity, but it's very bitter.
Very good though. So this one is only about 7% alcohol?
Yeah, this is what we like to call our session beer.
So what's up next?
Next beer is Burley Gourd. It's a pumpkin milk stout with a ton of cedar.
Very nice. Yeah, you can definitely get that woody note just right out of the gate. With the pumpkin-y stuff, it tastes a little bit, you know, kind of that allspice cumin kind of flavor.
Yes, it's spiced pretty heavily.
This is a really cool beer. There's so much going on in here. Like the cedar stuff keeps creeping back in.
Cedar is definitely an uncommon choice for brewing. It's usually oak. What gave you the idea to put that in?
Like a lot of our ingredients that we use here, it's just pure experimentation.
Well, Phil, everyone experiments a little bit in college.
I guess so.
What do we have next, Phil?
The next beer is Oceus. It's sour. It starts with a base sour brown and then is aged in oak barrels with guavas. We wanted to use guava as a fruit. We do a lot of fruit sours. It went best with our brown sour that we had in our barrel warehouse. It's kind of like an inventory of sours that we can pull from.
I mean, the smell is definitely sour, but it definitely has a hint of fruitiness to it.
More tart than sour to me, which is refreshing. Aaron, this is a pretty good introductory beer for sour kids, just getting into the game.
Non-sour kids.
Kids who could be sour.
They could be sour. Sour Patch Kids. All right, Phil, what do we got next on the flight?
Trade Winds Triple. Our little edge that we put on it is Thai basil. The basil is mostly an aromatic.
Phil, can you tell us a little bit more about why you chose to use rice as an ingredient in this beer, and what percentage of the mash is actually rice?
It's a small percent, but we definitely like playing with rice and a lot of our beers as a component, not just filler.
So do you know what ABV this is? Because it's really quite smooth, and I feel as if it's a creeper.
It is a little deceiving. It's 8.1.
For a beer of this smooth, easy drinking, I was not expecting that high of an ABV.
Not at all. I mean, maybe 5.
Maybe 6.
5.5.
Maybe 5. So what's the 5th beer in our series here?
This next beer is our Berliner Weiss. We call it Hot and Roth. It adheres to the style pretty well. Very low ABV, weedy and tart, very refreshing.
Now, it's common practice for these Berliner Weisses to have additives put in when you're sitting there trying them at the bar. Do you prefer them with or without the additives?
I actually like my Berliner Weiss straight up. Here in the tasting room, we do have syrups that we provide if you're interested in that.
What are we working with here? Eisstreiper Früchte Himbeer
Waldmeister.
Getranke syrup.
It changes it completely.
It makes it taste almost lambic-y with the fruit added into it. I gotta say, I'm gonna have to stick with you on this, Phil. I do like it straight up.
So this is a Hottenroth. Is there any similarities between the Nottenroth that you guys have?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I've actually been holding this the entire time. It is basically a batch of Hottenroth that didn't quite get as sour as we liked, so we added a whole bunch of kumquats.
It smells a lot more sour, but definitely doesn't go there with the taste.
Just from the aroma, I can smell the fruit in it right away.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I'm a big fan of kumquats. Give me that.
Fine. All right, so we got a 6 floater over here. What is that one all about?
This is another sour. It's our Mother Funker. It's a sour blonde, and it just turned out to be pretty much the sourest beer we've ever made.
Oh, wow. That is eye-wateringly sour.
It's a very standard blonde, just aged in oak barrels and allowed to sour long enough to achieve this flavor.
And this is all wild flavor? It's not made with adding more lactic acid or more citric acid?
No, this is all from wild fermentation.
How wild are your barrels?
They're pretty crazy.
All right.
That's a good one. Now, we were taking a look at the menu, and although the flight is officially done, we'd like to try one more. Can we try a bottle of the fruit?
Ben, marketing guy, can you get that for us?
Oh yeah, no problem.
Now, what can you tell us about this bottle?
Well, the base beer is basically an old ale. Every year for our anniversary, we use a method called the Solara method. Every batch of oak barrels is blended with the new incoming batch.
So every single anniversary ale that you guys have put out is in that one plus some?
Plus whatever we made this year, yeah.
It's like compound interest, but with a beer.
Yeah. It's a good way to describe
It's real
it.
complicated, but it's pretty great. And this is easily one of the highest octane beers I've had this week at around 15%.
Oh my gosh, that tastes like candy.
That is pretty incredible. It tastes like Werther's Original in a glass.
Oh my God. At the back end, there's like cinnamon or some sort of spice.
It warms the belly. You get all that fire from the strong, strong alcohol presence. If you had to pick a beer from the brewery as your favorite, which one would it be, Phil?
I'd probably go with Saison Roux.
Well, we should have probably had that one.
Mistakes were made.
Very much. Thanks very much, Phil. We'll let you get back to work.
Thanks, guys.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks, Phil.
Oh, bye.
Appreciate it.
So, Grant, what do you think would be your numero uno and dos?
Clearly, that kind of question can't even be fielded with this guy on the table, the Muscles from Brussels, AKA the fruit. This thing is just too much. If we were including it, hands down my favorite, so we'll set that aside. And honorable mention goes to the Burley Gourd, a very complex layered ale. The more you drink it, the more you discover, and it's just got so much going on here, especially after I've been sipping on the mussels from Brussels here.
Right.
The hard target, if you will. Motherfunker, best in show. What about you, bud?
So I guess my honorable mention and my favorite are going to be the exact opposite of yours, Grant.
Wow, bold.
The Motherfunker is ridiculous. Wow, it's insane. So for my number one, I'm definitely gonna go for the Burley Gourd. Like you said, the layers of pumpkin and the milk stout, it's just ridiculous.
It's awesome.
I love it.
Let's get out of here.
Do we have to?
No?
I mean, we can stay right here.
All right. That's it for this episode of Crafty. For more information about the brewery, please visit their website. And as always, remember, drink responsibly. And by that I mean, don't drink the last beer in the fridge.